Hey y'all, it's Nomadic Shaman here. Thank you so much for visiting my page. This video, um, let me just come out and say it. I reviewed the last few of my videos and Spirit had corrected me on a few things. So this video is an opportunity to correct some of the things that I mentioned beforehand, because I didn't exactly get it accurate. And since I'm in the position where I am doing readings, sharing downloads, I just want to make sure that my information is going to be as accurate as I can make it, accurate as possible. Granted, I am not always 100% right. However, I do strive for any and all of my messages to be accurate and that I'm relaying the message exactly as intended. Okay, so this is going to be my opportunity to do so. With that, let's jump in. First, I wanted to say this video is for edutainment purposes. Please use your own discernment. You may be triggered. You may be triggered as fuck, okay, if you're partaking in some of this foolishness, but you've been warned. Now, the other part is, y'all, why didn't... Y'all, the last video, it was like my double chin wanted to be like, hello. And then there was a triple chin that was trying to make its appearance. I'm like, yo, just violating. So, confirmation, I need to handle that. So anyways, that's enough about me. A little bit of comic relief before I get more, into the seriousness of things. But anyways, nonetheless, here we go. So let's start with the previous video. Some things that I want to touch on. I have written the corrections, okay? I commune with my spiritual team and I have written the corrections and we good over here now, okay? Okay. If we're not, they're not shy. I'm pretty sure they will correct me on the spot. So, speaking on the last video, I spoke about how there was a car that was being submerged in a body of water. Now, remember the video that I made mention about a vehicle that was being stored in the, I believe, extra space storage in West Philly? There's a connection with the two. It's that vehicle. So that vehicle was taken out of storage and then submerged, put in a body of water as someone was watching it sink down. Woo, this is the visual that Spirit had showed me. Now, I mentioned in the previous video, it could be something that somebody's thinking about doing. It could be something that's, if it's not already done, or it can be, present moment. Spirit shared with me, someone did it. More specifically, month of May. They gave me May 26. So May of 2026, or May 26. That specific date. They told me May, they told me 26. So that could either be May 2026 or actually May 26 of when this happened. And then it was dark, so it definitely would have been between 2 and 4 a.m. Okay, that's what I was just told. Here we go. Now, I heard Delaware River. That's what I just heard. Okay. Now, moving on. Information about the phony Philadelphia court clerk. I asked Spirit, was she actually the court clerk involved in that specific case? And they told me no. They told me that she was a court clerk. Okay. So, she wasn't part of the case, but she was involved. She was definitely involved, okay, with the things that I mentioned, okay? And then what else? Spirit also mentioned something about some of the gifts, possible gifts that she received, was a car, a new car, maybe a leased car, and assistance with her business. Could have been the life coach business, okay? More specifically with marketing and promotions, social media. That's what I heard, anyways, okay? And I wrote that down. Now, that's from the previous video. Let's get back to let's rewind a little bit. Now, back when I spoke about the hotel, remember when I was telling you about that crazy incident where my TV turned and then all of a sudden it went to the dead man walking? There was also another, it went from dead man walking to a movie Haunted. So obviously somebody was doing it intentionally, okay? I think it was another show on Netflix. Another interesting part, I believe I was playing Hertz. Every time my phone would pause, sometimes my phone would just pause out of thin air, but that was somebody actually playing with my phone. But anytime my phone turned off, when I was listening to the Hertz music, that's when the bang on the wall started back up again. This was back when was it? April 2nd? Was it April 2nd? It was April 2nd. So April 1st and April 2nd, those were the 2 nights that I had stayed in a hotel in Philly close to the airport, okay? And it just so happens that Diana was in the room right next to me. Also, on April 2nd, it was Spirit telling me April 2nd, yep. So, April 2nd, she left from 10:30 a.m., around 10:30 a.m., so between 10:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. on April 2nd. Now, the reason why this is significant and important is because at this time, she was reporting to community service to get to her community service. So you can find out if she showed up on time, if she reached out to her probation officer to let them know she was running late, or even by her vehicle mileage, okay, based on that day. It can be found out, okay? If not through someone's personal testament, other supporting evidence around it can be found out that she left around that time, and she was indeed right in the same vicinity, of the hotel that I was in. She could have worn a black hoodie. I wrote black hoodie. I should have been more clear as she was leaving the hotel. And I did speak about how there was a man there and there was a woman there, and the man wasn't there when she did the death sacrifice using the dead bird, or using the bird, killing off the bird. But Spirit told me that the woman was there. She was present. I don't know what her level of involvement was, but she was there, okay? On April 10th, I noticed that they slipped a tripod under an SUV pickup truck on the street that I am currently living on. And I was just like, well, why is that? Well, it took me back to when I met and spoke with I believe Alex, where he was showing me his tripod, and he was showing me how he can set the camera up so that it can recognize different sides of the face. What do you call that? Face recognition. He can actually set it up for memory. Why did it look like that tripod? I guess to get an idea of different angles of my face in the nighttime. Interesting. But they had put it under the tripod. Okay, so that means as I'm backing out the driveway, it would catch video recordings and snippets, and maybe even still photos of me in action as I'm driving out of the driveway. Let's see. also to see my comings and my goings, okay? Now, this I've mentioned how the crazy Egyptian bitch has a sister, Nora. And because a crazy Egyptian bitch is tied up, supposed to be on house arrest, I don't know what's going on with that. Um, Either way, she can't travel. I believe she still has an ankle monitor, so she can't travel. So it's a family business. She either has her brother do the dirty work, her father do the dirty work, who's also her uncle. I'll leave that up to you to figure out that problem, and or her sister to do the dirty work. Now, Spirit informed me within the last month, within the month of April and last, let's say April and May, her sister has, this is supposedly the one who's wheelbound, mind you, okay, the traveling nurse who's wheelbound and who works from home. She's traveled to California, to Florida, to Delaware, to Georgia, to Louisiana. My spiritual team told me all that. This happened within the month of April and May. Spirit informed me where I'm at. She's here once a weekly, on a weekly basis, and she visits anywhere from 3 to 4 days out of the week. The remaining days out of the week, she goes back to California. That's where her family, I believe, currently resides. And that's also where they gang stalk my cousin. And then between where I'm at now, and between California, where she gang stalks my cousin, and also that's where her family resides, she's also traveling to Georgia, because she's also the person that is gang stalking Pat from Queen of Wands. She's the one, she's like the field manager. So she runs everybody else who actually does the footwork, okay? The people who do the footwork answer to her. Yeah, so she watches, or she's responsible for gang stalking Queen of Wands, okay? Pat. Now, let's see. The next part, on April 17th, remember when I was telling you that a practitioner, a Panamanian practitioner, was hired to do death spell rituals on me? Well, there was a woman in the store who was wearing a black turban. I actually was wearing a black turban too. That's another thing. They like to do mimicry. And so that's one thing that I wear often are turbans. And I had on a black turban that day. And so did this woman. Y'all, if you know, you know. People who are heavily gang stalked, and they understand the idea, the concept of mimicry that goes behind it. Say less. That's all I need to say. But mind you, this woman, I remember her having burnt orange yoga pants and then black sneakers. Spirit informed me that she was Dominican, but they told me that her partner was actually the Panamanian practitioner. Okay, the black Hispanic. Now, he too had a hoodie. I believe it was gray. I couldn't really tell because I did catch a peek of him in the van as he was in this neighborhood following me. Okay. Muscular fit with some weight on him. And I happened to see him on April 17th between 9:15 and 9:30 p.m. And so I saw him bucking it. As I'm coming out trying to turn, I see him bucking it. So I drive behind him. And so eventually he went in a different direction. And then I ended up being at this store making a quick run. And that is where his partner was. She entered the store after I did. You know, because he had already been made. He'd already been caught. But on April 16th, around then, this is an estimate, is when a Cash App payment was made. The names I was given was Vera, so Vera. That could be a first, middle, or last, and then or just not an alias last name, but the Cash App could be under that. And then Guillermo, y'all, I know I'm butchering this name, but it's William in Spanish. So Guiller, what, Mo? That's what I wrote down, y'all. That's the name I got, first, middle, or last. Okay, so we have Vera, first, middle, or last, and then we have Guillermo, or it's a Spanish for William, first, middle, or last. Could be significant as it relates to the Cash App payment. This is the Panamanian practitioner who was paid to do death spells on me, and he was actually in this neighborhood too. Spying and stalking, y'all. Okay. I did explain what happened with my cards. Long story short, I'll try to make this as short as possible. I created two cards, two concepts. One was for affirmations, a way to alchemize energy. And then the other one was based on spell work that I had been experiencing by way of witches, warlocks, wizards, occultists, and practitioners from 2020 up until I believe 2020, could be 2023, 2024. But anyhow, so that's what happened. And so Spirit did inform me that when my computer was hacked in January of 2023, my files were stolen, and they were handed over somehow. The crazy Egyptian bitch got a hold of it. So did the Puerto Rican princess, got a hold of it, and then handed it over, made an agreement to the Fiery Witch Tarot, and then voila. Somehow we have the same content for all of our cards, okay? Anyways, next thing is my affirmation cards. I was told that that was payment for either work that has been done already. So, Fiery Witch Tarot could be a practitioner as well who has done work or worked with them in some capacity, where she's done work prior to or in the past, or but either way, it served as a make good and payment for previous work done and for possibly future work done, for how much money she would be making from her cards. And I had a chance to check that out on Etsy. She made a significant amount of profit, I believe, on Etsy and on I don't know if she was, I saw Etsy as the main site where she hosted those cards, okay? The other affirmation cards that I wanted to explain, that was done a little bit differently, where there were a lot of similarities, but there were also a lot of distinctions. But I just knew that the information was, some of it, I mean, shit, the name, the tagline was directly taken from my creations. The color scheme was, the theme was, but these particular cards were done in an anime format, okay? And yeah, those cards were actually given to somebody else within the within the cult, for them to sell and then for them to be able to gain monetarily. And I also saw those cards on Etsy too. Okay. It's very amazing when you call back your energy and then you ask the Most High to reveal things to you, and they'll take you directly to where your energy was use by way of any type of manifestations or creations. And so that's what happened. That's how I got the confirmation. People want to do spell work on me right now on this video, but that's not going to stop me, okay? So let's go ahead and continue on. Spirit informed me that the Puerto Rican princess at least tried to take me out 3 times by way of death spells. And I guess after the 3rd time where it was not successful, she stopped. That's smart, right? That's when you say, what is it? It's the definition of insanity is when you continue to do something despite it not working. Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing here. But right now, we're about at 20 minutes. I'm going to wrap up this video and I'll catch you on the other side. Peace out.